Good morning, everybody. It's Eugene and
Marie.
And we are here with episode 12 of Half Awake, Fully Caffeinated. I know that we're on episode 12 because I finished editing 10 and 11.
Nice. I keep forgetting. I'm not gonna lie.
No, absolutely. It's hard to remember where we're at. And we have two different Costa Ricas, roasting profiles, not different origins, and we are going to see which one's better as we go. And we have two coffee topics.
Two coffee topic? It's going to be a rough one today.
Toffee topics. Wow.
I left my notes over here, sorry.
And then we have two non-coffee topics. The first coffee topic is coffee conspiracies. Do they exist? And if they don't, I was supposed to make one up, but I didn't really make one up. I kind of just decided that it was a conspiracy. And then the other coffee topic.
My coffee topic was, I'm going to tell you guys all about a coffee producer from one of the oranges that we have in the shop.
There's lots of oranges everywhere.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And then, non-coffee topic for moi is photosynthesis.
And for moi was, it's kind of coffee related-ish. Not really. You wanted it to be. It's the Boston Tea Party.
Can you turn your light slightly? Yeah. Okay, sorry, go ahead.
The Boston Tea Party, and did they have plans for what was going to replace the tea?
Who's going first?
I go first all of the time.
Do you though?
Yes,
because
legitimately going through.
I just edited one of the episodes.
Yeah, I know, and who went first?
And it was you. Because the last couple times I was sick. So I'll go first. I'll go first. Out of the spirit of camaraderie. I'm gonna go with photosynthesis first. I don't have my timing device thingy mabob. Oh, right in her pocket.
Right in my pocket.
Right in the pocket.
4 minutes. Go.
Oh, okay, so photosynthesis. Most all of you should have learned that this is how plants create their foods. And I'm gonna dive into it quite a bit deeper. So photosynthesis has two different processes. One process is with light, which is photolysis or something like that. And then there is the non-light part, which is carbon fixation or something like that. Mm-hmm. And so the two-part process, the sun is out, or the plant is out in the sun and is just like, hi, hello sun, I am gathering your energy and I am letting it flow through me. Mm-hmm. It's kind of like doing a yoga class. Yeah. And it's just like rays. But it is actually taking the sun and using its energy to break apart H2O. It breaks H2O into H2 and then O, or hydrogen plus and O. And then as it's breaking it apart, it creates energy, which is stored in NADPH. And then the energy in NADPH is allowed out using ATP. What's up?
What is NADPH?
None of your fucking business.
Okay, cool. Just checking.
It's an acronym of something that's very large. It's just like a chemical or something that plants produce. And a good way to put it is like it's the battery.
Okay.
And so like if you think about it, the plant, the exterior of the plant is like solar panels and it's bringing in energy. And NADPH is the battery that's like, hey, there's electrons and protons and they're coursing through this plant and it stores the electrons and protons in the NADPH. ATP is like the inverter for the battery, which is like it allows for how much power to come out of the battery.
Okay.
And ATP is we have ATP. How much ATP we have allows for us to have energy.
I see.
In the powerhouse of the cell, while as this all happens in the chlorophyll of the plant.
Okay.
So then next up, we have to do something with carbon dioxide. So carbon dioxide is then using an enzyme called Rubisco, RUBISCO. The enzyme connects the CO2 to organic material and it makes it so the carbon dioxide actually it creates a thing that it's kind of like this vat of like, it could be food, but it's not food yet.
So it's just like a potential
It's a gelatinous cube.
It's a gelatinous cube.
So I don't know.
Okay.
I don't know how to explain it, but CO2 combines with organic material via an enzyme called rubisco. And then what happens is energy stored in NADPH, released by ATP, reduces this gelatinous thing into organic sugars and things that the plant can eat, and then also things that we can eat. And so then as they're doing all of this, the byproducts that come out is oxygen and food for the plant. The way that I was thinking about it is that it's kind of like if your home was solar. So the outside of your house brings in all the food.
Yes.
Or all the energy from the sun, and then it stores it in a battery.
Right.
And then the battery is then NADPH. There's the inverter that allows for the energy to come out into your house at a specific amount of wattage or whatever, and that's ATP. And then rubisco is you. You're just like walking around in the house, and it's like, oh, look at me, I've got things, and like you have carbon dioxide is kind of like the raw foods that you have, and so then you take it, you have all the energy, and you take it and you like combine it together.
Yeah.
And then you cook it using the energy from your solar panel battery.
Right.
And then it's edible.
Thank you.
And then your waste, like your plastic and your, I don't know,
Packaging.
your trimmings.
The trimming.
Trimmings and stuff go into the trash and out the door, and then someone out there like a landfill breathes it in. It's like, oh, life.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Interesting fact.
Yeah, that was an interesting fact.
Rubisco enzymes, which is the thing that combines CO2 to the organic material, is actually not that efficient at it, and so every once in a while it starts combining oxygen with the organic material. So plants may or may not be taking oxygen from us every once in a while on accident. Those bastards.
Even though they're creating it for us.
They're creating it, but then also taking it at the same time. It's called photorespiration. It's a very bad thing that happens to plants.
That's really sad.
Yeah.
Side note, I think I like the improper roast better, personally.
Which one was which?
The left one is the improper.
I do like it better.
Yeah.
It's a little smoother.
There's a
There's a little bit of a
papery, like.
I think it's because I'm better at brewing than you are. I'm just kidding.
No, you made this one. I made this one.
No. No.
So I'm just better at brewing than you is the answer to that question. I see. Cool.
Mine's fresher.
Okay.
Under fresher. Dun, dun, dun,
My
dun,
turn?
dun. Yeah.
Would you like coffee or non-coffee?
I don't know. You choose.
Okay.
I'm getting eye boogies out.
Oh, you do that. I'm gonna inch my nose and drink some coffee real quick. Wow, this is the greatest part of a podcast there ever was.
I'm so sorry. It is early. I don't know how many people make old person noises in the morning, but like you kind of have like this 20 to 30 minute old person noise time. And I haven't gotten through my 20 to 30 minutes.
I see. Okay, well, I'm gonna teach you about the Boston Tea Party.
I can't wait.
There's 3 pages of notes.
3 pages, okay.
Yeah, don't worry. Mostly, I'm gonna be looking at this for years because I'm really bad at remembering years.
You don't even need to say the years. At the end of the day, we can just.
I like to be factually correct. Thank you very much. Okay, Boston Tea Party. So, as we all know, the Boston Tea Party happened in Boston, and they all had tea, and the Queen came to visit.
This is what the Queen visited? They threw it in the park. They threw it in when the Queen visited.
Yeah, Queen Elizabeth flew into town, and they were all like, "Yo, Queenie, what's up?" And yeah. So anyway, no, that is not what happened. Basically, Britain was a piece of shit. Are we surprised? No.
From a true Brit.
From a true Brit, so it means something. Sure. There was the East India Tea Company, and they were the only company, according to Britain, that was allowed to sell to the colonies at the time. And so they had the stronghold of the market, okay? And they were paying like 25% plus tax on this tea, as well as stamps, which were like, if it was imported, there was stamps, so you had to pay tariffs on it. And like literally fees on fees on fees on fees.
Fees on fees on fees.
Like
on fees.
On fees. A bunch of these like taxes and fees were added on. And then this group called the Sons of Liberty are the ones that they were kind of the underground radicalists that were like, no. And they went around, there were a bunch of acts that they actually managed to make not happen because they made everyone that was involved quit. They like threatened everyone basically. So the the Stamp Act never actually went through because they just scared everyone out of the jobs. So that happened. And then, what was happening at that time is people were mad. So Sons of Liberty had decided that we weren't going to be drinking British coffee anymore, okay? We were smuggling in tea from Holland. Okay, and then after a certain point when the East India Tea Company realized that they're not making any money and all of their tea is going out of date and expiring, blah, 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 blah. Britain's like, okay, fine, sell it at cost. And so that tea gets so much cheaper. So much cheaper. Everyone still goes to Holland illegal tea. Everyone is still boycotting, even though it's cheaper, the British tea, because that is how much they hate the Brits right now. And so, in December 16th, 1773, 60 men dressed in blankets and Native American headdresses dumped 342 chests of tea, which was 18,000 pounds, which is today's equivalent of $4.5 million worth of tea.
Wow.
Into the Boston Harbor.
Good for them.
45 tons of tea. And did you know there was actually a second Boston Tea Party that no one talks about? Didn't
know about that.
Yeah, they didn't dump as much tea, but same thing.
More tea
was dumped. So basically, that's what happened. They snuck onto the Sons of Liberty were like, okay, screw this, because when the tea arrived, the man in charge was like, this boat will not leave until the tariffs are paid and the tea is off of the boat. And they didn't want the boats in the docks. And so and they didn't want the tea. So that's why they snuck in the middle of the night and did all of that. There was something probably racist about the Native Americans and why they were dressed like that. I don't remember exactly what it was, but let's be real.
Trying to pass the blame, probably.
Pass the blame, and also I believe it was something to do with like make the Brits think. Oh, I didn't even get to the coffee bit. Anyway.
You spent too much time on the tea party.
Too much time on the tea party. It's fascinating. I never learned about it. Basically, in short, coffee is mentioned in the early 1668, so it was around at the same time.
Correct.
It was being drank at the same time, but it didn't really take off until the mid 1800s. So coffee was not the answer to the Boston Tea Party.
Yeah. So I did my own research as well. Just because you were like, you know what? There's nothing to do with coffee on this. There is. It came to the point where tea was seen as an unpatriotic act in the United States, and so it became more and more likely that we were trying to find another drink. Coffee wasn't as prevalent because the trade routes weren't settled, and so the only reason why coffee wasn't popular until the 1800s-ish is because we didn't have our trade routes established with Southern and Central America to be able to get coffee in without the taxes. And then coffee showed up and it's like, America, but yeah.
Oh, look at that.
That being said, that is kind of a good segue.
Yes.
Because my coffee conspiracy deals with a South American country. South American. I believe it's South American. Yes.
Okay, you ready?
Yes, I'm ready.
Go.
So, of the lists of coffee conspiracies out there, most of it's just like complaints. Like people like, oh, well, they gave me real coffee, not decaf, or they gave me decaf, not real coffee, and maybe coffee isn't what it's. I don't know. It's just customer complaints, which is really boring. So we're not going to do that. We're going to dive into the deep jungles of Colombia and discuss why, for at least 2 decades, Colombia was known for cocaine instead of coffee. And so, Big Coffee probably doesn't want you to know this, but Big Coffee in the 90s and early 2000s unseated the king of the local economy, aka cocaine. And it was because of a few things. First thing is, in the 80s or 70s and so on, there's a rush of cocaine into the United States, and it's all coming from Colombia, and it is expensive. You can make a pretty good dollar on cocaine. And so, a lot of people are like, of course farmers in Colombia would choose to do cocaine, but it's not entirely that they chose cocaine simply because it was a more cash producing crop. It was also because the infrastructure in Colombia, like proper infrastructure, just like, oh, I'm selling coffee, didn't exist. Most coffee in Colombia was grown in very mountainous regions, but during that time, the roads, railroads, boats, ships, whatever, to get coffee from the top of a mountain down to a plane or a train didn't exist. But the infrastructure to allow for cocaine to get from the mountains to a plane or a ship did exist, because the cartels had way more money than the government. And the cartels were able to create not only the logistical pathways for cocaine to get out of Colombia, but they also provided security for the farmers, and they also provided a much bigger payday. Fast forwarding to today, Colombia is not known for cocaine anymore. Colombia is known for coffee. This is where Big Coffee stepped in. Big Coffee, AKA the Colombian government and a lot of government money, for a really long time was working on large infrastructure specific projects to allow for coffee to be able to be grown. And so there was this balancing point where Colombia was able to, one, create a lot more security for the farmers in how much money they would make for coffee. So maybe it's not making as much money as cocaine, but it's making stable money. Next is the infrastructure. So there's roads, there's abilities for farmers to get their coffee to somebody so that they can actually sell it. And then 3 is the big hand of the law is strong enough that if you are caught growing and selling cocaine, you could actually get in a lot of trouble. And so there's that fine balancing point, and Big Coffee was able to get there in Colombia and a lot of other countries out there, at the end of the day, because Big Coffee has a lot more control than we think.
Wow.
Yeah.
I was going to make up a conspiracy theory for the Boston Tea Party, including the German company Uber Cafe.
Uber Cafe.
See if you would have noticed the
I probably would have had some questions. But there's not really a lot of coffee conspiracy theories
that's
out
not
there.
even super coffee conspiracy theory.
No, it's mostly just how did a country overcome its
cocaine.
reliance on cocaine?
Yeah.
I mean, it's kind of like how did Mexico overcome its reliance on weed, marijuana?
Marijuana?
And it's through avocados. I'm not sure if you knew this or not. But
I did not know that. That for some reason is more fascinating to me. It's not more fascinating.
Actually,
it's equally as fascinating.
It's pretty fascinating. For most of the people that don't even realize it, avocados, a lot of the avocados that people are eating, were probably provided to the United States through the cartel.
Okay, well, that's the conspiracy theory I was looking for.
Not a conspiracy theory. It's actually very well documented,
But I want it to be a conspiracy theory.
There's some that's probably coming from the government, but a lot of it's also been facilitated
Sweet.
by the Mexican cartels.
Wow. So you could be having cartel avocados.
Cartel-avocados.
Cartavocados.
Cartel toast.
Ooh. Should we change the name of our avocado show?
It might
maybe
be
not a good idea.
Slightly.
Okay, are you ready to hear about my
Yes, we're ready to hear about
Ready.
a coffee farmer today.
So the coffee that we're learning about today is actually for a coffee that we are going to be bringing in shortly. It is for the new Guji from the Kayon Mountain Farm in Shakiso, Guji, Ethiopia. Shakiso?
The Shakusi. I shouldn't have even said it, but that definitely was. Yep.
Shakiso, Guji, Ethiopia. Okay, that's how I.
Shakiso's like the town, Guji's
Yeah.
like the state, Ethiopia's the country.
Exactly. I'm gonna run through so fast a list of things that you're gonna find out on our bag already. But this is just the information that I learn every time we bring in a new coffee. So I'm really excited that we're doing this. So it's from the farm, Canyon Mountain Farm. It is a natural process. It is heirloom Ethiopian varieties, which I looked that up because I thought that it was kind of a cop-out answer calling it heirloom Ethiopian varieties. But it turns out that it's just natural wild varieties that have like crossbred so much in the wild that they haven't been able to genetically figure out what it is.
It's
and
kind of
so,
like huskies in Alaska aren't actually huskies that
Yeah.
we expect. Yeah.
And so it's going to be a super unique individual coffee that no one's ever had before, and that's what an heirloom is. Anyway, harvest from November to January, so there's 3 months out of an entire year that it's harvesting, and it is 1900 to 220 miles above sea level. And I said miles, I meant meters. Thank you.
Miles would be like
I'll be
we're out in
alone.
space.
Hello. Anyway, okay, so the farm itself is owned by Ismail Hassan Aredo, and he and his family have owned it since 2012. And his farm employs 25 full-time employees year-round and 300 seasonal workers.
Wow.
So for the 3 months out of the year that they're picking the coffee, that's where they have 300 people. The rest of the time, it's only 25 employees.
Interesting.
And with that, the farm management offers the staff free transportation as well as financial support for building schools in the area and administrations and everything, administration buildings for the community and stuff. So similar to the way eCafe kind of is he's there helping the community as much as he can. So the farm itself competes for a nearby mining village, so he has to offer competitive pay so that the pickers come back each year rather than go to the mines. So
Probably
like
safer.
safer, hopefully a more secure job, all of that fun stuff. The farm itself is 500 hectares. 1 hectare is 100 acres.
No.
That's what Google told me.
No.
Well, then what's 1 hectare?
1 hectare, I think, is like 2 to 3 acres.
Okay. Well, I'm gonna
Either
look
way,
that up.
it's a really large space.
Either way, big lot of land. I will Google it later. Anyway, 500 hectares. 300 of those 500 hectares are coffee plants. So that means that the majority of the farm is producing its money and everything 3 months out of the year. And that is all. The other 200 hectares, the other 9 months are other plants and stuff, fun stuff. They have a nursery on site as well, so they grow and it utilizes the acacia and other indigenous trees. Acacia is, in the coffee world, the national tree of Ethiopia. However, I looked it up and it's not. It only says that when you're reading specialty coffee stuff. Coffee conspiracy.
Big Coffee's decided new trees.
Yes, Big Coffee. That is a good chunk of the farm. I also I just copy and pasted from the website that we get our coffee from, the information about Guji that it provides and the information about Ethiopia in case you were curious about those places as well. But I predominantly stuck with Ismail and his farm.
Yes.
In Shakiso.
We might as well find out. How many acres are in a hectare? 2.471 acres.
Where did I get 100 acres from?
Je ne sais pas. But I would know this because we talk in hectares and acres all the time.
And that makes a lot more sense. I was like, that's a lot of acres 500 hectares. That's a lot of acres.
It's a lot of acres. No,
It's
it's
a lot.
more like, that's a lot of acres. Like,
Yes.
even if it's not 100 acres, like 2.471 times 5, that's like,
A lot.
oh God, it's like
Little
1,200-ish
Yeah.
acres. Like, that's a lot of land.
It's a lot of land.
And for having 300 people go through there trying to pick coffee, like that's a lot of work.
That's a lot. Yeah.
Backbreaking stuff. So, I have a non-coffee question for you.
Okay.
Because I had the liberty of learning about the Colombian coffee, or the big coffee in Colombia. I'm going to hand off to you the avocado cartel, because it seemed like something that you were very interested in. And then my coffee question for you, when you're ready,
I'm ready.
is the origins of geisha.
Ooh.
Geisha, for those of you not entirely too familiar with it, for the longest time was one of the most expensive coffees available because of its rarity and how fucking awesome it can taste.
Yes.
See? Yeah.
I agree. Sorry, I was definitely
Agreed.
not distracted by the coffee that I was drinking.
She's still just enthralled by how much her coffee tastes better.
Okay, I enjoy those questions. Thank you.
Avocado cartel.
Avocado cartel. My
Cartel toast.
my questions to you are, my coffee question is, what is the difference between Arabica and Robusta?
Okay. Yeah. We haven't talked about that, have
We have not, and I think that is a very big question for a lot of people that don't.
Jet black.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, cool.
And then my non-coffee question is a bit. I've been reading a book about the world history.
Dear Lord, no. I'm just ready, yeah.
So my question is, what is the most insane fact you can find about Nero?
Nero.
Nero.
The fucking batshit crazy Roman emperor that like hung people upside down on crosses in his fucking garden.
Yeah, that was nothing. That's
Yeah.
a Tuesday.
I know.
That's what I want to know.
We're really gonna dive into Nero, huh?
Yeah.
Robert De Niro.
Hey.
Just kidding, Robert. We don't care about you enough.
Not really.
Yeah, unless if you find us. I don't have my Remarkable today, but this episode was not brought to you by Remarkable.
It's brought to you by a piece of paper.
Brought to you by a piece of paper. But Remarkable, hey, we're
Hey.
still out there.
Still here.
We will absolutely continue using our Remarkables every time.
Every single time.
Every single time.
We
We're
use one.
at 21 views
Hey.
on one of our videos.
Hey.
Actually, no, we had like 80 on another one. But
Oh, hell yeah.
hey, guys, that being said, we really appreciate
Yeah,
the
thank you.
handful of you that are making it on here. You know, it makes me get up in the morning on Thursdays, knowing that there's some of you out there.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah. Not entirely sure who you all are, but we appreciate
I
you.
know, Brian.
Brian, specifically, we appreciate you reaching
he's
out.
going to be the one that we bring up every time because he comes into the shop and he's like, thanks for shouting me out on the podcast. And so I have to do it again.
Yeah, no, we appreciate you, Brian. And then, every once in a while, Roz, I know you're probably listening because I turn it on while we're driving.
Yeah, there
so
you
I
go.
can review our podcast and make sure we're doing a good job. But hey, if you have questions, if you have things you want answered, if you want a 4-minute breakdown of something, please let us know.
Please let us know.
We're more than happy to do that. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and see you guys next week.
Goodbye.
Bye.